What's up, guys? Today I'm just going to be doing a little bit of a, I guess, explanation video for newer players in terms of like what they should be doing at the beginning, what they should be focusing on, and we're going to also talk about the elemental damage types because there's not a lot of explanation there either. So we're going to talk about how damage works. Um, yeah, as well as some things that you should be focusing on as a new player. So let's get right into it. When you're new, Warframe is a large game, okay? There's so much to do. Even when you're in the end game, there's so much weekly stuff that you have to do. Well, you don't have to, but you know, if you want to optimize like what you're getting from the game, then there's a lot to do. And especially at the start, it can be extremely overwhelming. Um, so I would, and you'll hear this so much, uh, I would just complete your star chart. That's what you want to do. You want to go to every planet and just, oh fuck. I didn't mean to start a mission. The quests are going to unlock certain things for you as well. Some of them are not going to be main quests. They're going to be Warframe quests, and they will unlock the blueprints for those Warframes for you. And then usually the other blueprints can be farmed in the same area that the quest brought you to, or something like that. If you're looking for a new Warframe to play, a lot of the Warframes in the game are going to be accessible from the market. So you'll be able to go to the market and just purchase the main blueprint. And then you can basically just farm for the rest. I honestly recommend Rhino. Like, if you didn't... I think he's one of the starter Warframes, right? I think so. Or is it Volt? Is it Volt, Excalibur, and Mag? I think it's Volt, Excalibur, and Mag now. But Rhino is a great Warframe if you want to get him at the beginning, just because he is really great at survivability. He's definitely not one of the best frames at survivability now. Like, Revenant is crazy, but I would say get Rhino. He's pretty easy to farm. You just repeat the assassination mission. I forget which assassination mission exactly, but it's super easy. I think it's like a level 6 to 8 mission. I did it recently actually with a couple friends. And yeah, soon you'll get the parts. So you can go to the market, get a bunch of blueprints for that. Let's actually quit this mission. I need to focus on what I'm saying. So yeah, we were talking about the star chart. You're gonna go to all the planets, right? You're gonna complete all the nodes that look blue. Steel Path basically just gives you, well, the enemies are obviously harder. You can see enemy level plus 100, health 250, shield 250%, and then, but there's more drop chances for resources and mods. So that's great. You know, it's rewarding. Honestly, you don't need it. You don't need it. I've noticed, like, I was farming an event recently, Belly of the Beast event, and it gives you, like, I think, like, 8 motes or whatever every mission, but then when you do it on Steel Path, it gives you, like, maybe 10. So it's, like, 2 extra. I don't know. It's, like, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder for, like, a little bit more rewards. I guess it's, you know, it saves time, but I feel like it's not like, don't feel pressured as a new player to just go straight for the steel path, because you know, at the end of the day, this is a game, and you just want to enjoy your time with it. You know, Warframe is an amazing game. The quests are so fun. The story quests, especially like the main story quests. If you go here, main quests. I mean, I just loved, like, even just the first part, you know, is so cool. when you get to the whole Vox Solaris thing, I mean, a lot of these quests are just so cool. They unlock such huge and beautiful environments for you to see and to explore. Man, I've been playing this game for way too long. Like, I remember when all of these quests came out. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, and what's really, I think my favorite part about this game is that it is ever evolving. So, like, I remember when bullet jumping was not a thing. Like this, like the movement was not a thing. Like it was mostly boots on the ground and you can jump. And I think Excalibur had an ability where he could kind of like bullet jump into the air. It was one of his abilities, which is kind of crazy. And anyway, they ended up adding this crazy movement system because I think bullet jumping was actually a glitch. And another reason why I love this game. They take things that the community loves, even glitches, and they're like, okay, let's run with it. And I know that recently with the 1999 update, they also they kept like the atomocycles in main missions and stuff, so you can use them in main missions, I believe, or just like an open world. When originally I think it was just going to be for the 1999 place. Really, really cool. Let's go to the market actually just to show you. So if you look up, let's say, let's go to Warframes. You're going to put hide items without blueprints. All of these Warframes you can get their blueprints for. It's amazing, right? So you could go, let's say I want, you know, Caliban. I actually don't have Caliban. So I'll purchase the blueprint, and then now I have his blueprint. So I highly recommend for new players to get like maybe Rhino. He's pretty easy to play, high survivability. I mean, a really good frame is Saren. She is like S tier, destroys enemies, like basically nukes the entire map. Mirage is really fun. Necros is great for farming. I highly recommend him if you want more Orokin cells, if you want like basically anything. You always want a Necros on your squad because one of his abilities is Desecrate, and it basically re-rolls the drops for enemies, I believe is the term. Re-rolls, not doubles or anything. I think it's just re-roll. So the enemy basically dies, you know, they have their original drop, but then he re-rolls it again, so you get another drop, but it's not duplicating the item that previously dropped. It is just rolling the table again. So you could, for example, get an Orokin cell. It doesn't mean that you're going to get a second one. It doesn't guarantee that, but there's a chance to get a second one. So yeah, let's actually talk about Orokin cells, because Orokin cells are something that you're going to need basically to build almost everything in this game. So Orokin cells, best farm ever, Gabby. Especially, and this happens pretty often, especially when there's a bonus resource drop chance on this node. Ideally, the team would be a Necros and a Korra, or a Necros and a Hydroid is also good. Okay, another thing that I should mention is Warframe Wiki is your best friend, especially as a new player. You know, sometimes you just have to look up stuff. So look, we have status effects. So we got impact, puncture, slash, heat. Let's just talk about the physical damage first. So impact causes the target to flinch and staggers movement for 1 second. That's good. And increases the health threshold at which they can be Parazon Mercy Kill by 8% per proc. Okay. Well, the Parazon Mercy Kill. Impact, meh. Okay. Puncture on enemy reduces any damage dealt by 40% for 10 seconds. That's good. Stacks up to 5 times, certain products reducing damage by 10% to a total of 80%. So that is very good. Like it's good for survivability. The victim receives 5% increased weapon crit damage. So yeah, if you're building for crit, you should get puncture. Slash, one of the best in the game. On enemy, deals 30% of the base damage per second over 6 seconds. And this bypasses armor. So this is another thing, right? So viral and slash, that's why they're so good. Yeah, so there's like there's a damage over time effect for slash because it bleeds them, and it bypasses their armor. Amazing. So they die faster, right? Whereas if you chose, what was it, corrosive, it just destroys their armor, and then you have to still deal with their health, right? This just goes straight to their health. So yeah, slash and viral. Always do slash and viral if you can. So heat, pretty self-explanatory. Deals 50% of the base damage as heat damage per second over 60 seconds while causing the target to panic for 4 seconds. They basically, you know, get lit on fire. But it also armor strips, so that is very good. Cold damage, it basically freezes them, reduces their movement, fire rate, attack speed. It also receives a crit multiplier. That's very good. So yeah, on the 10th stack, enemies become frozen solid, and their shield recharge is negated. That's also quite good. So this would be very good against Corpus, right? Because they have a lot of shields, and it also increases critical multiplier. So if you have a high crit chance weapon, again, cold damage, very good. Electricity. So deals 50% of the base damage as electricity damage per second over 6 seconds to enemies within 3 meters of the target and stuns the affected target for 3 seconds. So it stuns enemies. It kind of expects, you know, you can kind of expect that it stuns enemies. And yeah, and then Toxin deals 50% of the base damage as toxin damage per second over 6 seconds, and it bypasses shields. So yeah, Blast. So we can look at Blast. It deals 30% of the base damage after 1.5 seconds on maximum 10 stacks, or when the target dies. Premature detonation occurs and all stacks are dealt simultaneously, as enemies within 5 meters are dealt 300% of base damage per proc. So yeah, after 1.5 seconds, it's going to detonate, right? So if the target dies before 1.5 seconds, premature detonation occurs, and the stacks are dealt simultaneously, as enemies within 5 meters are dealt 300% of base damage per proc. So if you have, again, like if you have a weapon with a high status chance, you put Blast on it, if you kill the enemy, it's basically going to do damage to enemies beside it. Very cool, very good. Corrosion, we talked about this before. It basically reduces armor, and it stacks 10 times with subsequent procs, reducing armor by 6%, total of 80%. And then gas deals 50% of the base damage as gas damage per second over 6 seconds in a 3-meter radius. So it kind of makes like a gas cloud in a 3-meter radius, and yeah, okay, that's basically all you really need to know. Magnetic, so it amplifies damage dealt to shields and overguard by 100%, and nullifies shield regeneration for 6 seconds. So that's actually quite good, especially if you're dealing with Corpus or just like enemies that have a lot of shields and overguard, which you'll encounter a lot more frequently as you go higher and higher in enemy level. Stacks up to 10 times with subsequent procs, increasing damage to shields. Proc evil to magnetic stacks. Okay. Amplifies damage dealt to shields by 100%, nullifies shield regeneration. Okay, well that's for player. Okay, yeah. So yeah, basically magnetic, good against shields. Radiation. Attacks any closest enemy will be attacked in return. So yeah, radiation just confuses the enemy and it attacks the other enemies. Yeah. Okay. Viral amplifies damage dealt to health. So yeah, very very good. But anyway, these three you don't have to worry about. Don't even worry about it unless you're playing Zaku, you know. But honestly, I wouldn't even look at that right now. So we're gonna look at the Archoplasmor. Basically, crit chance 22%, not too bad. Crit multiplier 2 times, not too bad. But the status chance 34%, that's very good, right? It already has like an innate heat elemental damage and also radiation. So basically, yeah, all this damage goes down. Total, right? Total is 952.6 damage. So if I put cold, what's going to happen is we're going to get blast because it combines with the available heat, right? Because before we have heat like already, and it's not already combined with anything, we have a separate heat and a separate heat and electricity, which is radiation. So we have one available to combine, essentially. So we're going to put cold. And now we have radiation and blast. So that adds to our damage total, increasing it to 1,810. Very good. So the status chance, 34%. So we have a 14.3% chance for radiation and a 19.7% chance for blast. And yeah, and basically every time, right, every time the radiation would proc, it would do this amount of damage, and then every time the blast would proc, it would do that amount of damage. So that's why it's calculated in the total. So let's just actually test this out on some enemies. So we're gonna go to this enemy over here, and if we shoot him, so we had one impact. We shoot him again, we have 2 stacks of blast, and you see how after 1.5 seconds it did extra damage to him. So if we look at closely, we have the shields. You see the shield symbol on the right of his health bar? So those are basically his shields. The orange over his health bar means that he still has shields. Now I'm not doing enough damage to get rid of all of his shields, but you can see that it's going down a little bit. And right now he's irradiated. If I didn't pause the AI, he would start attacking the other enemies. So another blast proc, 1.5 seconds, it explodes and it does, I think that was 105 damage. Now he's irradiated again. This guy's irradiated as well. Let's take a look at this. Crit chance is actually pretty high for this for some reason. But yeah, status is way higher, 73.9%. And that is because I have 15% here, 60% here. I also have multi-shot. Basically, when you fire one bullet, you have a chance, in this case, an 80% chance, I believe, to fire a second bullet. So it's 1.8. So you have one bullet guaranteed. It's 100%. That's the first bullet. And then you have an 80% chance to fire a second one. And so basically that's, multi-shot is crazy because you have an extra 80% chance to do all of these a second time. right? You have your fire rate, which is like how often or like how fast you fire. Multi-shot is the chance of firing more bullets each shot. Magazine, you have 200. Reload is how long it takes to reload, in this case 1.7 seconds. Accuracy, accuracy kind of self-explanatory. Trigger, you hold the trigger. Beam range, so this is a beam weapon. It's a flamethrower. It's a flamethrower. So yeah, this is just the range. So 36 meters, I believe. Riven disposition, you can put one riven mod. Don't have to worry about that, especially if you're new. Yeah. So yeah, and then you have your crit chance. You have a 51% chance to get a crit, right? Which is really good. So it's more than half the time. So then, more than half the time, you're going to do 5.5%, 5.5 times your damage. And yeah, and then because of your multi-shot, you're doing 1.8 times 5.5. And then you have your status chance, 73.9%. Very high, very good. You're going to be doing a lot of status most of the time. And then, so basically that increases, so basically 41.9% of the time of your status procs, you're going to be doing viral, and then 32.1% of the time you will be doing heat damage. Okay, and let's just do a quick reminder. So heat is better against infested, alright, and then heat sets enemies on fire, causing them to panic and temporarily reduce their armor up to 50% with multiple stacks. So this is going to be really good against the guys we're going to be fighting right now. And then we have viral, so it's good against Orokin. And status effects, viral increases damage to health up to 325% with multiple stacks for a short duration. So basically it's perfect because we get rid of their armor with heat, and then we just fucking annihilate their health. So while the armor, because they're not going to be taking damage directly to their health, right? So we're destroying their armor. While we're destroying their armor with heat damage, we're going to be adding stacks of viral on them. So when we do get to their health, it's just going to pop them. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So we go back to our guy. So you see how there's 22 heat and 10 viral right now. So you see as the heat is slowly chipping away at the health. And the armor, you see the armor icon is going down slowly as well. Now let's keep going. And so we're getting 73 heat procs, very good. And then they die. Okay, another thing for people starting out, there's a training section. There's a whole training section if you want to learn movement. There's like basically an in-depth guide with the controls that you have mapped. So very useful. You can even replay the tutorial. Let's talk about mods. So mods early game are going to be something you get quite often, but I don't recommend you to upgrade them completely when you're starting out, because they can cost up to 100,000 endo to max out one mod. That being said, you can use mods on like all your Warframes, right? So I can have the same Equilibrium mod on my Necros and basically on all my other Warframes. They're not like one mod per item. Don't worry about that. But it's just not wise for you to upgrade. Like sometimes it's like from going from level 8 to 10 for the mod, it's gonna be costing you like 30,000 endo just for like a 5% or 10% increase. And that's so much endo, especially when you're starting out. You don't have access to arbitrations and other methods of grinding endo, so it's just, you kind of like have to accumulate it over time. I would not spend, I would not try to max out. Actually, a lot of my mods are not maxed out yet. Just because like this, if I want to upgrade it, 15,000 endo. That's a lot of endo. I don't have that. So yeah, I would just focus on like trying to get like a little bit higher, but you know, when it starts to get like 5,000 endo per, you know, per level up for your mod, I would be like, okay, you know what, that's enough, that's fine. Especially when you're starting out. So in the early game, you're going to be introduced to a lot of these open worlds, Plains of Eidolon, or Valis, like Fortuna or Valis, and Deimos, okay? And they're each going to have syndicates associated with them. Now, the open world syndicates are very time consuming, and basically I just don't recommend you to put a lot of your time and effort into those syndicates, especially when you're starting off, because it's just such a grind. And yeah, they're cool. I mean, it's open world in Warframe, like that is so cool. But what you should really just be focusing on is your star chart. This is how you're going to progress in the game. This is how you're going to get stronger. And honestly, while you do your star chart, you're going to start learning more and basically just becoming a better player. If you get stuck in these open worlds, you'll basically, in my opinion, you'll just be wasting your time. When you could be progressing. I mean, if that's what you want. At the end of the day, it's a game, and you could do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't recommend you get stuck in those open worlds. Okay, another thing for new players. Join a dojo. It doesn't matter which one. Really doesn't. I'm in some random dojo here. People seem to be nice and everything, so it's chill. But yeah, join a dojo. The way to do that is you go to recruiting, and you basically just say looking for a clan. Lots of people are either recruiting for clans, or you know, you can message one of them if they're saying like, oh, I'm you know, join our clan, whatever. Once you've been invited to the clan, you can't access it until you construct a clan key, but you will get the blueprint for that when you basically get put in the clan. So you'll get the blueprint, and then you just have to build it. The reason why clans are so important to join is essentially this. They offer blueprints, so if you want a new weapon, I don't know if I have this. Alright, let's replicate it. So you replicate, you buy the blueprint for 15,000. This is great for getting your mastery rank up. Also, so it depends like on like your clan's research, right? So like they have to actually start the research on all these weapons and like build the labs. But some clans will have warframes, warframe parts. Okay, this is really good, so you don't have to farm them. You can just buy them here. Yeah, so you can just get a bunch of different weapons, melees, primaries, secondaries. Oh yeah, and segments. Alright guys, so basically if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what I should cover, if I missed anything, if I got any information wrong, please tell me. But yeah, have a great day and peace out.